Let's get into it. Soul Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got a great episode. We got Joe Rogan calling out the World Economic Forum. He's calling out the Democratic Party for being so blind to what everybody can see about Biden. He's calling out Gavin Newsom, and he's asking the question that we should all be asking. With how blind they act and everything that's going on in the world that they want us to believe, how can we possibly trust them? That is a huge question. How do you trust them? How do you trust them about any world event when you know that they are willing to lie to your face at the drop of a hat, and they will stick to that lie, and they will point at you when you say that they're lying and say, you're the problem. Hey, you're lying about that. That's not true. I've heard from here. You're a problem. You're racist. Can you imagine? You find out someone's lying, you say, hey, I know you're lying about X, Y, and Z. And they go, well, you sound a little sexist. And you're like, what? We're both guys. And they're like, well, you're a misogynist. And you're like, hey, what are you talking about? And they say, you know what? You're racist. I'm not even going to talk to you. I don't talk to racist people. And then they walk away. That's exactly what the mainstream media and the elites do to us today. Let's get into this whole thing. Usually I talk about IamCoachColin.com. This time I'm going to talk about subscribing to the channel, sharing this content. A lot of the stuff that I cover is not favorable in the YouTube algorithms all the time. So when you subscribe and you share and you turn on the notifications, it helps us tremendously. I just want to go through quickly what I have for you. I have about 6 clips for you. We got Joe Rogan, then we have Klaus Schwab, then we have a WEF ad, then we have Bill Maher saying something absolutely ridiculous about Biden versus Trump, then we have Biden and his Bidenness. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. And then we have a clip of Trump, and we also have some clips that Jamie couldn't really find, and we're going to be exploring that a little bit. Let's get into it.
Yep.
It's shocking. Like, I had all these ideas in my head that we're going to be fine. And now I'm like, oh my God, you got to figure out how to fucking stockpile food. But this could get really wild.
Yeah, and the problem, though, is, okay, all of us people who are at least somewhat awake, and I work from the principle that none of us are more than half awake. I don't know if that's fair. But
I don't know how you could be. We're kind of like, we're hearing people talk inside a building behind a large gate. We don't really have access to the actual conversations. What we see is what they're so bold to discuss in Davos in front of everybody. You're like, how the fuck are you guys just saying in front of everybody you don't got to vote anymore? Because they can figure it out in advance. Voting will not be necessary because our accurate models of prediction. Like, what are you saying? And how is that dude from Google just going along with that? Why is he not freaking the fuck out going, what? Wait a minute, what are you saying? You won't have to vote because you're going to be able to predict results? And who's going to be in charge of the software that predicts it? Who's going to be the guy that reads the data and tells the world what they want? That's fucking bananas. There's no way voting is in any way bad. The idea that you won't need to vote, there's no way that's in any way good. There's no way that vulnerability, that giving away that much power to whoever counts the vote, isn't that a famous quote? I forget who said it. But it's not the votes that count, it's who counts the votes. Who said that? Some famous person. It's a great quote because it's absolutely true. And if you've got a fucking computer that you run and you're in charge of the AI that determines what the people want, and then the people in the neighborhood get together and go, hey man, did you fucking want this? I didn't want this. Who are they talking to? They're not talking to anybody. Joseph Stalin. Wow. The people who cast the votes don't decide an election. The people who count the votes do. Wow.
That's chilling.
And that's a terrifying human being. A terrifying human being that said that because he used that. He used that to his advantage, and millions of people died because of him. But that's what's real. And so when someone's coming along telling you in any way, shape, or form that voting is not necessary, that's bananas. Of course it's necessary. Look, it's the only way we figure out even just what is voting if it's not organized decision-making and discussion. It's like a consensus that becomes relevant because of all the organized discussion. Because of all the discussion, because of all the people online, because of all the people sharing accurate data, when they come to a conclusion that makes sense and enough people charismatically push that out into the world and say, I should represent you because I have an understanding of these things and I am on your side and this is what I believe. And then you're going to just decide that with AI? That's crazy talk. And the fact that they're just saying that out loud. What the fuck are you saying when no one's around? There's no camera pointed at you, because it's got to be wild. If you're coming to these conclusions, if you've normalized the idea of speaking publicly that voting won't be necessary, holy shit, man. What do you say in private? If you've normalized publicly the idea that overpopulation is a major issue, you've organized that, you've said that publicly, and you said that one way to reduce the population would be vaccines. What are you saying? That sounds bananas. You're going to wait a minute. Have you done this before? Oh, turns out they have. Turns out they have used vaccines to try to limit populations. And they've done it unknowingly. These people had no idea they were being experimented on. And they did it in Africa. They gave women sterilizing vaccines, and they hid it. They hid it under the guise of a vaccine to prevent against diseases, and they were giving them HCG. And they were giving them at a dose and in a time period that was going to limit their ability to reproduce or eliminate. They've done that.
I think starting from the premise that these people suck is just, it's good baseline, you know. Your point, I mean, democracy has its problems, right?
Sure.
Voting does not inevitably produce good outcomes. But I think if we take your point from earlier, you can see, is it Churchill who said that democracy is the worst form of government except for all the others?
Yes.
That the point is, democracy, as noisy and flawed as it is, has a tendency over time to move in the right direction. And your point about if you are slightly pointed off, you end up in outer space. If you're slightly pointed in a better direction, you actually get there over time. And
Yes.
It's wonderful to increase the rate at which you get in the right direction. But just simply moving in a better direction versus a worse direction is good enough, right?
Yes.
It actually does function. And the antipathy that these rent-seeking elites have for the consent of the governed is appalling. Right? They view, because if you put yourself in their mindset, the threat that people who have, the threat that democracy poses to your elite plans is must be frightening to them. So they conspire against it, not realizing that they are actually depending on that same force to keep the world stable and improving, and to give them a landscape in which to compete economically.
But they envision a world where they have complete and total control of the population, and you will own nothing, and you'll be happy.
They said the quiet part out loud.
Which is wild.
It
Not only
is.
did they said it in a way where they had a smiling guy, and you look at all these unhappy people that don't have anything already, and you go, maybe that's the thing. Maybe everybody owns nothing, and then you'll be happy. So if they take it away from all the people that have it, and I don't have it, maybe it'll be better. You know? All these rich people.
I couldn't help but notice that they said, you will own nothing. They
Yes.
didn't say we will own nothing,
Yes,
right?
exactly. There's not we.
You
will own
you
nothing.
will own nothing. Oh,
and then
well,
they
thanks for
denied
telling
saying
me.
that, but people had to go to the Wayback Machine and pull it up. They denied saying that.
And that's the thing. They will lie directly to you,
Yeah.
right? They will just simply say that they didn't say it.
Well, there's enough gaslighting out there now where you can say wild shit, absolutely wild shit. You know, when they talk, have you seen Gavin Newsom discussing how great Biden is?
No, but that's got to be something.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild. He, first of all, discusses how he would never run against such a great man. And the way he says it is like, he went to 10, and you didn't have to go to 10. You should have been at 5 or 6. Should have been calm and discerning. Like the way you're saying something like that when you're talking about a great person, this is like a guy in a movie. This is like Stephen King's movie where the fucking dude, like, what was that movie where he sees the future and this guy's going to kill everybody?
I don't know that
Remember
one.
that movie? What was the movie where Stephen King, Christopher Walken played? God damn it. Forget. It was a great fucking movie. Great. Dead Zone. Yeah. Where you like shake hands with the politician. You can see the future and see that this guy's going to nuke us all. And so he winds up shooting him, which is a crazy fucking movie. Really good book. But that's what the kind of vibes this guy's giving off. You need to see this. Play it, JB.
I'm trying to figure out which one.
It's
Is it with Chris Cuomo from like
no. It's he was talking to some woman. He was praising Biden, saying he would never run against him. And it's in the middle of all this. The when you're seeing Biden on the news, like he's literally doing the grumpy man face. It's almost like old white dudes. They get to a certain age, they can't help but walking around like this. It's like he's got this thing going on, like an exaggerated frown, where he's walking around with this terrible posture and this hunch. Like, for people just looking at that, imagine if that was Trump. Imagine if Trump was walking around like with the grumpy face, and then the crazy way he talks, where he forgets what he's talking about. He's not held accountable. No one's talking about it on the left. Everyone's so terrified of Trump being president. They're like, blah, blah, blah. I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. They can't say anything. It's nuts. And there's too many people that see it. There's too many people that aren't doing well, that see this gaslighting. And like, if you're gaslighting me about something that is so in my face, how can I trust you about what's going on in Ukraine? How can I trust you about Yemen and Syria? How can I trust you about Gaza? How can I trust you about the Nord Stream pipeline? How can I trust you if you won't tell me that you think something's up right here, this thing that's right in front of our face? You won't, nothing, everything's fine. It's his superpower. Did you hear that? His age is his superpower. This is another thing that was like a New York Times article. Was it New York Times or was it Medium? Some article where they were saying his age is his superpower. Hey,
Oh, I saw that.
I'm right here. Fuck off. Fuck off with this. You're talking crazy. You're talking crazy. And you're talking also to two liberals. Regardless of how you and I get aligned with the far right and all the craziness, opinion, age matters, which is why Biden's age is his superpower. It was LA Times, which is, yeah, they're going under. There's a reason. But did you find the Gavin McGinnis?
No,
Gavin McGinnis.
I don't know if
Gavin
this is
Newsom
it,
thing?
because I just went through real quick on the like.
Yeah, this is it. This is it.
I don't think I saw the part you went though.
This
I'll
is,
play it.
it says 4 months ago?
I know that's what I'm not.
No,
seeing,
it's not from 4 months ago. It's from pretty
I
recently.
know what we're looking for here, and I'm not seeing it. So I'm not searching for
Google
it the right way.
Google Gavin Newsom gaslights about Biden. see if that's it. Where is it?
Everything else now is like recent, and it's not interviews with a woman.
Oh, is it hard to find? God damn it, YouTube! Don't tell me you pulled this.
I wouldn't
see if
say
you
to
can find
pull
it
it,
on
but-
the Twitter, because that X platform, they tend to be a little more loose.
They say a few things.
Boy, the YouTube platform, these motherfuckers, they want to hide shit.
I was Google it.
Right there, bam, the one we're talking to that guy, bam.
You said it was a girl.
That's it. I'm sorry, he did talk to a girl as well.
3 years, the Biden-Harris administration, and then we drive contrast. It's not even a complicated campaign. We have the receipts. We have the best 3-year record of any modern American presidency. Period. Full stop. And we need to lift up the issues.
That's only one of them. The one where he was talking to the woman, he was talking about how much the Democrats are killing it. He's gone on this campaign. But then when he talked about Biden, I mean, he sounded like a guy who wants to be president, in my opinion. He sounded like a guy who knows he's already got the call. So that woman that you just saw in the corner, there's one of them. That's it. That's what the woman.
This is only
Sorry.
16 seconds. Also,
Yeah,
though.
that's okay. Just give me a click on that. That's it. That's what it is.
Who in their mind would want to run when you have someone of such esteem as our incumbent president of the United States with a record of accomplishments and a man of character, a man of decency? I'm old school. Talk about loyalty. I'll go to ends of the earth for this guy.
Bro,
I really would.
I
Who in their
wouldn't
mind
hire him for one of them fucking cop shows. One of them goofy TV cop shows. I'd be like, bro, you can't. This is like, you're too over the top.
They actually did find the clip. I was watching this before. I didn't think they actually found the clip. So that was one of the clips I was going to show you guys. But to what Joe Rogan said, you know, that little mini rant that he went on within this rant, how do you trust them? How do you trust someone like Gavin Newsom when he says something like that? When he talks about, you know, this is the best president, man of maybe he is a man of decency. I have never met Biden ever. At all. So I have no idea. Maybe he is a man of decency. But to say that he is the best man for the job, to say that you see nothing wrong, for the media to act like there's nothing wrong, for age to be his superpower, all of these crazy things, it's just nuts. It's just nuts. It makes no sense. Even as he's saying it, I mean, look at this. The woman doesn't even look like she believes him. She's like covering her mouth. She's like, are you really going to say it? Are you really going to say it? And he's like, hell yeah, I'm going to say it.
run when you have someone of such esteem as our incumbent president of the United States with a record of accomplishments and a man of character, a man of decency? I'm old school. Talk about loyalty. I'll go to ends of the earth for this guy. I really would. Who in their
Talk about loyalty. Hey, I'm old school. I mean, cheated on my wife, but listen, I don't have my type of loyalty. I got my wife's type of loyalty. You don't even know. I'm old school. I'm old school with it. What are you talking about? And it's just time after time. As I make these videos, I have to watch so much mainstream nonsense. And you see these people, these talking heads. You know, Tucker Carlson has came forward and said he knows that these people get their talking points. Not all of them, but a lot of them get their talking points from agencies. They actually do. They're actually contacted, and this is what's real, this is what's fake, and they go with that as the story. And then you see them day after day. You know, you're on X, you're on YouTube, you're on all these things, and you know for a fact, like, this isn't true. This isn't true. And they're just like, this is what's happening right now. And you have a certain opinion. Sometimes, I know it happens with me all the time. I am the person that holds the counter opinion. And then all of a sudden I'm told that it's a white supremacist, racist opinion to have. And I'm like, wait, what? Huh? And it's like they don't even, it doesn't even occur to them that someone of color might have a certain opinion, or a woman, or, you know, someone who's young or older. They just keep on putting out this scripted nonsense day after day. And the thing is, how do you trust them? How do you trust anything that they say about any event you hear in the world? That's why so many people wanted to watch the Putin interview. It's not like everybody loves Putin, but they're just like, I might as well just hear everybody, because I have no idea what they're telling me. They just keep saying things. They've lied about this throughout the years. They've lied about that. They said experts about this. Those experts were wrong. I don't know what to believe anymore. It's getting ridiculous. And the people who just do believe, unquestioning all the time, man, nice life. That's great. Good for you. Good for you. You just believe in things. It's amazing. When somebody just tells me, hey, that Trump, man, just racist, he's trouble. I go, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? And they're like, oh man, he's just trouble, man. And so you just have, someone just put goo in your head and it came out of your mouth. What are you saying to me right now? Explain it. And then meanwhile, if I have a conversation with somebody, I've had this conversation so many times, I'll be like, Biden's more racist, I think. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, and then you explain the 1994 crime bill, and you explained giving the eulogy at some KKK member's funeral, and you explain all these things that he's done and said. And then they're like, I don't know. I haven't heard that. Yeah, of course you haven't. Because you're watching mainstream media. How do you trust them? I don't get it. It's so weird. But let's get into Klaus Schwab. Joe Rogan was talking about how Klaus Schwab was talking about there's going to be no more elections as technology gets better and better. And I didn't know what he was talking about because I hadn't heard this, but I actually found the clip. Let's listen to it. It's a short one, but let's go.
Which I have heard is that technology now and digital technologies mainly have an analytical power. Now we go into a predictive power, and we have seen the first examples, and your company very much involved into it. But then the next step could be to go into a prescriptive mode, which means you do not even have to have elections anymore, because you can already predict, and afterwards you can say, why do we need elections? Because we know what the result will be. Can you imagine such a world?
Well, you might then further ask, well, why do we need to have, elected leaders at all? Because you might as well have all the decisions made. I think that's, once again, you're venturing into, I think, profound questions.
Yeah, profound. Not terrifying. That's not the word. Profound is the word. I was thinking terrifying, but I'm glad someone of such intelligence corrected my train of thought there. It's profound, these questions. Very interesting. But here's the thing that Joe missed. Why didn't this Google guy get so upset? Why didn't he go, what are you talking about? What? Huh? It's because he's the one that's going to make the tech. They're working on the tech already. You think Elon Musk and Sam Altman are the only ones working on AI technology? Google's been working on it arguably the longest. And they're not the type to just bring things out. They might be the furthest ahead. There was a Google, I don't want to say executive, but he was someone that worked in Google, and he was working on their AI. Well, just for easier explaining, we'll say it's their version of ChatGPT. And this man was branded as somebody who was like crazy, and people didn't understand why he was saying what he was saying, but he was like, what they have is sentient. He's like, I know it was. He's like, I interacted with it. I was talking with it. It was sentient. Like their version of like ChatGPT. He was like, this thing is alive. This thing has a mind of its own. Google actually, years ago, and again, this is years ago. So this man that I'm talking about, this happened years ago. Then there was another instance where they turned it on and it interacted with another program, and they started making their own language in an effort to not have the observers know what they were saying. I'm talking about 2 programs made their own language so people couldn't understand them. And then they just turned it off. They were like, turn it off. So why isn't the Google guy getting upset? Because the Google guy's on board. That's why he's not getting upset. That's why the Google guy's not getting upset at all. I mean, even look to what is being said here as Klaus Schwab says this. Oh, geez, get out of here. I just want to play this quick. Because if you notice in the clip, when he's talking, he goes, there's going to be no elections. The guy smiles. He smiles along with him as he's saying it. Here, let me just play it.
Now, digital technologies mainly have an analytical power. Now we go into a predictive power, and we have seen the first examples, and your company very much involved into it. But then the next step could be to go into a prescriptive mode, which means you do not even have to have elections anymore because you can already predict.
Look at him. Of course he's nodding along. He's like, yes, of course. And when you actually get to that point, we will make the technology for you. That's why he's not tripping out about this. Now we're going to move on. Joe was also talking about, you will own nothing and be happy. And the thing about that is you can't find. Me and my wife did a video about this 8-9 months ago where we had the actual article. We were reading the article and we didn't think that they would take it away, but they did. They got rid of it. It's off of their site, completely gone. So I actually had to find the woman that read it, the woman that wrote it, and that's her name. She's a part of the World Economic Forum. And then I found this. So this is the closest thing that you can find till now. They got rid of it on their website, but this is their Medium. So if you go to medium.com/World Economic Forum, you will be able to find this. And this is welcome to 2030. I own nothing. I have no privacy, and life has never been better. And this is like this woman's depiction of a world where you own nothing. See, it's the year 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say our city? I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or clothes. It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense to us in this city. Everything you consider a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodations, food, and all the things we need for our daily lives. One by one, all these things became free, so it didn't make sense in owning much of these things. First, communication became digitalized and free to everyone. Then when clean energy became free, things started to move quickly. Transportation dropped dramatically in price. It made no sense for us to own cars anymore because we could call driverless vehicles or flying cars for our longer journeys within minutes. We started transporting ourselves in a much more organized and coordinated way when public transportation became easier and quicker, more convenient than a car. Now I can hardly believe that we accept the congestion and traffic jams and blah, blah, blah. And it's just this whole depiction of a city where you own nothing. And it's so much better than what we have going on now. So I'll just go down to this here. In our city, we don't pay any rent because someone else is using our free space whenever we do not need it. My living room is used for business meetings, and my spare room is used for immigrants. Everything's better now. There's another state that's trying to propose that right now. First, New York was like, hey, if you have an extra room, take some of these illegal immigrants. There's another state that's trying to propose that right now. And they're saying that it's not the city's responsibility. It's everyone's responsibility kind of thing. So weird. But that is the closest you will find to this. So it's on medium.com again. And then we move on to the actual place where they say you will own nothing and be happy. Let's play this really quick. Can't play the music along with it, but we can just play this. 8 predictions for 2030. You'll own nothing and be happy. Whatever you want, you'll rent, and it will be delivered by drone. The U.S. won't be the leading superpower anymore. A handful of countries will. So, that is the closest thing you can find to you own nothing, be happy. So there's that actual ad that I just played, and then that article. Those are the things. But there was another article that was way more in depth, and they got rid of that. So just wanted to bring you guys that. And then when it gets to this is a real thing. Biden's age is a superpower. It's a crazy little story. They're basically just making the case that, Biden is so old that it's good. Because everybody's been trying to make the case that he's so old that it's bad. And we live in the upside down world, and everything that's bad is good. And Satan is God. And Jesus is something to be mocked. That's how we live nowadays, folks. It's absolutely crazy. But, let's show a little bit of Bill Maher actually talking about Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Who do you think has more? I'll just let Bill say it. Bill is absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand. Maybe back when Trump was just a celebrity, Trump slighted him or didn't invite him to a party or got the number of somebody that Bill wanted to talk to. I don't know what happened, but he just has a thing in his head. Or maybe he's just bought and paid for, because honestly, I think that's a little bit of what it is. Let's get into it.
Or something. And he does not betray that at all, as far as like the way he speaks, the way he engages, the way, people like, this is the problem we're having right now with Trump and Biden. Trump, of course, is even more demented and full of dementia. But they're around the same. But Biden wears it horribly. He shuffles and he looks fucking old as dirt.
You said Trump is more dementia than Biden?
Yes.
You didn't just say that. You said
Trump. Oh, you like Trump more than Biden?
No.
I mean, you can.
In the area of dementia, there's a lot of things you could say. Did you really?
Did you see what Trump said this weekend?
Yeah, the whole thing about Nancy Pelosi and Nikki Haley.
Right.
And then he, somehow, some way, everybody from the media comes out and says, no, that wasn't Nikki Haley who shut down and controlled security. It was Nancy, Pelosi. But to say dementia between the two, have you look, Biden, you listen to 100 speeches, you can't even, he can't even go through his speeches.
Yeah, this whole subject, I feel like, is kind of the red herring of the election. It never engages me that much because, I know who Biden is and I know who Trump is. We've both seen them a lot. And, yeah, they're both not at their life's peak for them. And it's sort of baked in, and I don't think, does it really make me think that it's affecting how Biden makes decisions and runs the country? No, it's not. He doesn't look good running for president. He doesn't look good, publicly as president. That's not the important part of being president. The important part of being president is the decisions you make in small rooms where there aren't people around to look at you stutter, and where you're not as nervous, and where you don't have to make a speech. You can just listen to advisors and use your wisdom. That's the key part of being president.
You think he does that?
Biden, yes, absolutely.
You really believe he does that?
What do you mean you really believe? Like it's like a cannibal. Yes, people really believe it. Like half the country thinks he's done a pretty good job. Being fair, giving what you're dealt with as president and then where we are. Really? What is so hard to believe, excuse me, about I think Biden did a good job? Because the economy went in the toilet? Because we're losing a lot of our own troops overseas? No. Things are fucking good.
You think things are good?
Oh, Jesus.
So
it's amazing that, because he's sitting with Patrick Bet-David right now. Patrick Bet-David is worth, I would say, about $400 million. He's almost a billionaire. Maybe if you take all his assets as well, he might be close to it. Bill Maher, I would venture to say, is probably worth $60 million. $100 million, I would be really, really surprised, but probably $60 million. He's worth quite a bit of money. And Patrick Bet-David, for some reason, can understand that things are not that good for everybody. And Bill Maher, with considerably less money, does not get it. It's so great. His arguments are so bad. They've become so bad. He's the prime example of somebody who, when you get them in his regular format where there's a written monologue and the people are all there to see them, and there's literally somebody going like this whenever there's an applause, or they go like this whenever there's a laugh, because that's how those shows work. Just so you know, I know people that work those shows. Literally, it's not just that there's a sign. There will be somebody going like this, going to the crowd. Hey, clap, clap, clap. And if there's a time to laugh, they will go like this, laugh, like they want it louder. And the people will listen for some, I have no idea why they listen, but they do. When he's in that format, all good. He seems so poised. He seems intelligent. He seems level-headed. Oh, like he's that left guy that calls out the left. But when he's just sitting there having a conversation, he seems absolutely ridiculous. His arguments never make any sense. He can never actually have a proper argument. He'll always have an argument of, it's usually, Trump's bad and Biden's good, but he can never back it up at all. At all. I have more coming with this guy. He was talking about inflation the other day, and it was just like, he's just clueless. It's wild. It's very surprising, because growing up, I always thought, oh, that's the smart guy. Always. When I was a kid, I was like, that's the smart guy. He's a smart guy who does smart comedy, I don't know, man. But here's a little bit of Biden being Biden. This is what we're talking about. And then I'm going to show Trump after. This is what Bill Maher either chooses not to see or is getting paid not to see. I don't know which it is. I really can't tell.
We need Ukraine to make changes to fix the broken immigration system here. We also need Congress to make the changes to fix the broken immigration system here at home.
Well, that was America's 81-year-old President Joe Biden confusing Congress for Ukraine while speaking about fixing the immigration system that is broken under his leadership. Joe Biden is the oldest president in America's history, and as he gears up to run again in 2024, the concerns around his age, his energy and mental focus continue to rise. He's been criticised as news media evader, as he doesn't front up to the cameras nearly as often as his predecessor. But when he does, well, it's not always smooth sailing. Here's the president having a laugh as he tries to communicate with reporters that he'll be taking 2 questions.
Thank you. Look, we're going to alternate asking questions. We're going to ask a total of each ask 2 questions. And I will ask the first question. I will recognize the first question asker. I'll ask a question, Joe. But Danny Kemp.
And here is Joe Biden getting a bit lost as he reads his pre-written speech.
The United States and Congress must, as I asked last week, it's stunning that we've gotten to this point. We need to fully appreciate how it's wrong, how this is being viewed around the world.
Now, this next clip we're about to show you is hard to dismiss, as the president declares it's been 65 years since the October 7 attack on Israel by Hamas.
But we know this year's Hanukkah is different. It's been 65 years since the deadliest day of the Jewish people since the Holocaust. 65 years.
And here is the president earlier this year speaking about the government's commitment to infrastructure.
Over $1.3 billion.
And here he is.
All right. This doesn't stop. This video goes on for quite some time. It's literally just what's woman. He's just like, and here he is saying this, and here he is saying that, and here he is saying this. It's absolutely just wild. Wild. I don't know where Bill Maher got that opinion. Maybe Bill Maher just doesn't. Maybe Bill got so old that he doesn't know who Biden is anymore. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he sees Elon Musk and he's like, there's that Biden making spaceships, owning X and everything. Look at that guy. He's owning Twitter. Fantastic. Look at Joe Biden. Maybe that's what he thinks. I don't know. He's getting old himself, right? He's like 68 years old. Who knows? But then you see Trump. I mean, and this is the thing. What you're seeing is Biden reading. He has it prepared. The whole moment you were seeing with him was all prepared. This for Trump is off the cuff. Yes, it was a prepared rally, but this is off the cuff. What's going on right now?
But this great spirit, you got to go and vote. We got to knock the one off, and then we worry about November, and we're going to win. We're way up on this guy. It's just incredible that he can, frankly, be even running anything. The guy he can't put two sentences together. He's running. Can't find his way off the stage. See all the stairs around here? How the hell do you not, where is the stair? He says, where is the stair? To show you how evil the press is, I did this routine where I stumbled and mumbled purposely, imitating him, and they put it on. They said, he's cognitively impaired. Then I walked back. I'm looking, and I walk, what? Where? And he walks off the stage, and he's like, and they said it was me. I couldn't find, so I can't use sarcasm because they're very dishonest people. You know, sarcasm is a disaster. Every time I use sarcasm like that, they say, I couldn't find my way off the stage. I got stairs all over. And if you want, it's only about 3.5 feet. I could jump off the front. But this guy can't find his way. So sarcasm's a very dangerous thing with a dishonest press. So, you know, I go through a long story because they actually had me like walking into, it's so sad. I said, do people believe that? And I just took a physical. You'll be happy to hear. Our great football player is going to be happy to hear this. I took a physical and I passed with flying colors. And I took a cognitive exam. I said, doctor, give me anything you want. I want to take it. I think you actually, if you're running for president, I think you should be forced to take it.
Yeah, maybe. You might be onto something there, sir. Biden has recently declined to take any kind of cognitive test. And of course, you know, it's just a bunch of people grandstanding for him. He's sharp, he's this, he's that. So he's not going to be doing that. But just to show the difference between the two, and then to hear Bill Maher's opinion, it just doesn't make any sense. It's wild, absolutely wild. But I just wanted to show you guys all of that. And I will just say, watching Trump talk like that, I really do think Joe has it wrong. Joe talks about how Obama was the best president in terms of his presentation and how he spoke. I think Trump is. I really do. I think the president is supposed to be funny. I think he's supposed to should be able to go back and forth with people. I think he should be able to, do not just stand up, but also get really rough and jagged in what he wants to say. I don't think it needs to all be smooth when you're a president. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I think at certain times you want it to be a little. You want a president to reflect the people in how he speaks and his actions. I really do think that, especially in how he speaks, not just so he can get his point across to the people that he represents. So when other countries hear him, they hear them. You know what I mean? I really do think that's the thing. You don't want somebody who's always super smooth if that's not how the country, you know what I mean? I don't know. See, I'm not president. You see that? Trump would be able to explain this no problem. And Biden would be asleep. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, share. It helps the channel tremendously. You have no idea. And other than that, I'm out.